Hello, I am Megan Santini with Santini Educational Consulting, and I'm coming to you with some portfolio review tips in putting your portfolio together. We are in portfolio review season. I'm sure many of you are up to your eyeballs in making your portfolio or have already completed your portfolio review, but I hope that these tips can be helpful. There are There are five types of portfolio samples I wanted to talk about um, today. So the first is, what if you do a lot of workbook pages or written work? How can you showcase that in your portfolio? The second is, what if you do an online program, either completely or some of your subjects are an online program? What if you do a lot of hands-on learning? What if you are a Charlotte Mason homeschooler? What if you unschool? So the goal here that I feel is that your portfolio should reflect the way that you homeschool. So rather than trying to artificially create work samples to fulfill the requirements of a portfolio review, there are ways that you can showcase what your kids are learning and what they learned throughout the year in a way that's more natural to how you homeschool and hopefully is easier for you in when you're putting together your portfolio. So here I wanted to show you my daughter's portfolio review, or her portfolio sample for math. So if you do a lot of workbook or written work, you can submit sample pages from that work. So for my daughter, what I did is at the beginning of the year, I took the final test and I had her take the final test. I told her to do the problems that she knew how to do, and if she didn't know how to do it, go ahead and just circle them. And these are 2 pages of a 4-page test that she did. And you can see that a lot of it she didn't know. Then at the end of the year, the end of the curriculum, I had her retake the final test. You can see these are the same 2 pages, and it clearly shows that she has made progress as she throughout the year as she has come to learn these concepts. So if you have curriculum or workbooks that clearly show a pre and a post test, this is something that you can do. This is all I submitted for her for math, was just her pre-test of the final test and her post-test of the final test. And this worked to show progress. Some curriculum that companies, you can go onto their website and they have placement tests. And so you can have your child take a placement test at the beginning of the year, go through the curriculum, have them take the placement test at the end of the year, showing that they've progressed to the new level or book, and that shows progress. If you have curriculum, say you're doing the good and the beautiful, maybe the good and the beautiful language arts or math, if there's not a very clear pre and post assessment that you can administer, you can take examples from the beginning of the year, the middle of the year, and the end of the year, and submit those. And those show growth over the school year. So that is a great way to do it. And I just want to throw in here that you don't have to pick just one of these ways of showing progress for your entire portfolio. You'll likely do a mix of these things. I certainly did with my portfolio. But if all of your work that your child does is in a workbook or written, you could have your whole portfolio be these kinds of work samples. The second portfolio sample I wanted to share is, what do you do if your child is doing online programs? Maybe they're doing their entire schooling online. Most online programs have a place where you can see the topics that was covered and their grades. So it's really important when you submit screenshots from an online program that you show both the grades and the topics that are covered. So it can't just say math and then the grade. It needs to say the topics, whole numbers, fractions, decimals, etc. in the grades. So this student, he does his, excuse me, high school all online. And so this is, basically his mom sent me 4 screenshots, and that was a portfolio because it shows growth, shows what he did through his schooling year. Maybe you are doing one subject online, say Beast Academy or IXL or something like that. You can also find somewhere on that program a list of the topics that are covered and some sort of grade or indication of progress or mastery, and that can be used. If you are someone who does a lot of hands-on learning, then maybe you might want to submit pictures or videos or lists. As you can see here, I have pictures of my kids in their science, doing their science units. I took pictures of data that we collected. This is just on a whiteboard that we erased it after the end of the lesson, but I captured that and put that in the portfolio. You can also include lists of, like, say, field trips that you went on in your portfolio. Interviews are a great thing that you could do. You can talk to your kids about, ask them in an interview and videotape it. Ask them what did they learn about at the Air and Space Museum? What was their favorite part? Or what was their favorite thing in their geology lesson? Or what does this term mean? And how did we do an experiment around it? So you can use these types of samples if you do a lot of hands-on learning. Pictures, lists, charts, video, interviews. If you are a Charlotte Mason homeschooler, then a lot of the learning that your kids are doing are through narration. And so narration is something that is more of a verbal exchange between parent and student, and it's not necessarily captured every time in some sort of way that you could upload or submit as a portfolio item. However, this parent here had her daughter give her narrations at the beginning and the middle and the end of the school year, and she transcribed it for her and submitted that. So that is definitely something that you could do. You could also make a video or an audio recording of your student doing a narration. And as a Charlotte Mason homeschooler myself, I'm fully aware that typically kids who are doing narrations are pacing, spinning, rolling around on the ground, kind of all over the place as they're trying to think. And so that's okay. If it's easier for you just to take a video and submit that rather than transcribe, do that. And it's okay if they're kind of all over the place. As long as I can hear what they're saying, you're good. Another thing you could do if you're doing like a program such as Ambleside Online, you can do the end of term exams and transcribe or record their answers to those questions and submit that. And then what if you are an unschooler? How could you show progress when you do unschooling? You'll probably lean into the hands-on pictures and videos in your portfolio. Another thing that you could do is create a book list of all the books that you read together as a family, or that your child read on his or her own, and that can show what was studied. You can even break it down into the 5 content areas and categories, list all the books, and you know, that's a great submission. Um, Interviews again could be a great thing that you could do. Either you interview your child and submit the videos, or I can even interview your child. Get on a Zoom call. If you give me a list of the topics that he or she covered throughout the year, then I can ask the student, what was your favorite part about when you read about Abraham Lincoln? What's your favorite rock and mineral? Going through the list of the different books that the child has read and just hear what it is that they enjoyed and what it is that they learned. Um, Activity logs or reverse planning can also be something that you could do. You get a planner, and instead of planning out what you're going to do for the day, at the end of the day, write down what you did do. That's a great way to keep documentation on all the things that you do in your homeschool. Remember, you can absolutely do a mix of these types of work samples for your portfolio review. I just wanted to share a bunch of ways that you can show learning in your portfolio, especially if you may fall into one of the categories where it's not as easy to upload maybe workbook pages or written work. How can you show learning when you unschool, or when you do narrations if you're a Charlotte Mason mama, and those are more a verbal exchange rather than written. So anyway, hope this is helpful to you. I will be doing another video on how to set up a portfolio virtually in Google Drive. That is what I used to create my portfolio this year. It was super easy to do, easy to put together, and with so many reviewers doing portfolio reviews virtually, I hope that that will be helpful for you as you put your portfolio together, how to organize it, how to share it with your reviewer, all the good things. So I will talk to you later. Bye.